The foundation and the direction in music that they gave me, I'm very grateful for that. And when you have to be on stage performing, you should have gone through that rigor. So I think that's the first thing I would like to say to people. Don't come in thinking you have to know something. It's okay to just listen and watch and like the melody, and and it's okay if you don't know anything.
Hello and welcome to Notes and Chords, the Hindus series on appreciating music. Through conversations with seasoned artists as well as young practitioners experimenting with exciting new formats, we try and decode both form and technique to better appreciate music that we love. Today we are very happy to have with us noted Carnatic musician Amritha Murali in the Hindu studio. Coming from a family of music lovers and connoisseurs, Amritha started training in Carnatic music at a very young age, both in vocal music and the violin. She trained with various prominent gurus. After initial lessons in vocal music from her grandmother Ragam Nagarajan, Amritha trained with K.R. Kedarnathan and Meera Kedarnathan. Later, she spent some years under the tutelage of Rama Ravi and P.S. Narayanaswamy in vocal music while taking violin lessons from T. Rukmini. For well over a decade now, Amritha has been under the guidance of R.K. Shriramkumar, the acclaimed violinist, composer and scholar of South Indian music, who is also the Sangeeta Kalanidhi designate this year. Known for her wide and ever-expanding repertoire and classicism, Amritha has made a mark in the field of Carnatic music, drawing discerning listeners from different age groups. Her performances have received high praise for her consistency and her aesthetic that is rooted in rigour. Amritha is a highly sought after artist performing not only in India but in several other countries, and she's also a teacher who's currently training many young students of music. We are indeed very, very happy to have Amritha with us today to talk about her journey and how practice makes perfect and what challenges there are to performance.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction.
Sure, Amritha, very nice to have you here. Yes. So, Amritha, as I was mentioning, you started training very young when you were a kid. And usually, in our context, when children are put through dance or music classes, it's one of multiple extracurricular activities that children are made to pursue. So, at what point did you realize that this is more than that for you? That this is not just part of class that you go over and above your regular school routine, but that this is more of a calling?
Initially, I can say that every child in our family was exposed to Carnatic music, vocal music or violin or mridangam, some form of percussion. And I used to be very introverted as a child, so it was a big deal to send me to class and to learn from someone else. But I think as I progressed with learning, somewhere maybe middle school or early high school, I realized that this was what I wanted to do. But of course, I mean, I don't think, we can think of so many things saying, I want this to be my profession or this is what I want to do in life. But I think as far as art is concerned, art has to take over. I mean, you can't decide that you want to do it. I feel that at some point that art consumes you. I think that probably high school and early college would be the point when I thought, okay, this is what I should be doing in life. But it took a lot of convincing, immediate family plus extended family. No, though everybody loved music and my grandmother was a radio artist and everything, but nobody was in it full time. So it was a big challenge for me to be the first generation professional musician in the house.
Right.
So, yeah. So I think from then there has been no looking back, thankfully, and I enjoy what I'm doing. There are challenges every day, but I love the art form, and so that keeps me going at the end of the day.
So, Amritha, you said that the art has to consume you. You can decide to do one thing or the other, but that has to sort of consume you. But before you get to that stage, I'm sure it takes enormous practice and labor on a daily basis for an artist, a student of music, and then a practicing artist like yourself. So, practice which entails exercises for the voice, then learning compositions over time, and your repertoire suggests you've been doing a lot of that. And of course, things like stamina and so many things, and improvisational technique, skills for that. So what was your practice routine like? Was it very regimented or flexible, or what's your approach to practice in general?
I'm not a very structured person in a
Okay.
sense. No regiment as far as practice was concerned. I
Right.
think even till today, there's no regiment.
Okay.
But I'm very thankful to my gurus for the strong foundation that they gave me, especially Kedarnathan Mama, Meera Mami. I also learnt violin initially from Vittal Ramurthy sir.
Right.
So the foundation and the direction in music that they gave me, I'm very grateful for that. And I think that the solid practice that was there initially, I think has helped me over time. And I like to keep it flexible. I don't like structuring my practicing. I'm going to practice between 8 and 10, or 4 and 7 in the evening. It's never been like that for me. Even in school, whenever I found time, I used to sing.
Okay.
That's how. Even now, I kind of like practicing late into the night.
Right.
More than like early morning. I'm more of a let's say night bird than a.
So you're not that wake up at 4 a.m. and do your...
No.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
only when I was in school,
Right.
I used to wake up a little early because I had to practice and finish my homework and probably do all that and go to school. When it came to college, I think completely things changed, and I like the quiet of the night to do my
Sure.
work. A lot of my learning, a lot of my practice, and everything happens at night. And of course, voice stamina and things like that, I think we have learned over time. Initially, you're not taught all your akara sadhakam practices and everything, yes, but you need more than that.
Right.
To be able to do what you do on a daily basis. It's not just the music these days which counts. You mean you have travel, you have to you have to be able to withstand the pressure of
course.
long hours, lack of sleep, different kinds of food, and it's a mixed package. And then for that you need to work out. Like your throat is also like it's comprised of muscles, right? So it's like a fitness, like how sports requires fitness. I think this also requires.
Indeed.
But we have all that awareness has come over time, I think.
Okay.
So I also have to do voice exercises and all that to keep myself in shape, and mentally, emotionally, psychologically, it's a huge thing. You have to keep yourself fit in every way, I think.
Right.
Because music is not just like you can sing, you're happy, you sing, but then when it comes to performing on stage, there are multiple factors. So all this like kind of is required to stay in shape. And I think I'm very grateful to all my gurus actually.
Right.
For the discipline they've inculcated. Maybe not in terms of timing or practice, but discipline in terms of music.
Right.
There's never been a compromise as far as learning has been concerned, or anything for the music. There is no compromise.
Right.
Otherwise, we could have as much fun as we wanted.
Sure.
But when it came to like learning or practicing or performing, there was no compromise.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get to choose the routine you want to follow, but the rigor is always
Yes.
the same regardless of when you decide to.
So I am always flexible, but I do have a rigorous routine.
Right. No, especially your point about being a night bird resonates with all of us journalists because we don't relate to early mornings at all. Although the paper comes in the morning, all of us are grumpy and groggy. We usually pick up later in the day. So yeah, I can totally.
In fact, even I like recordings to be later in the day rather than these. I don't like early morning recordings at all.
Right,
So
right.
I prefer doing recordings later into the day.
Right. So Amritha, you mentioned, Akara Sadhakam as one element of vocal training and also spoke about the, muscular health of your vocal cords and your throat. So, of course, Carnatic music as a system has both, compositions which are already set and passed on from generation to generation. Of course, stylistic differences that each school brings in. But you also have a lot of improvisational elements which also require practice in the sense of practice that involves listening, engaging, trying out different things. So just for our audience and especially those who might not be familiar with these different aspects to Carnatic music, do you think it might be possible to demonstrate something that is already set, a little example, and something that you improvise, and the kind of training you might have to do for both in terms of vocal training?
Sure. So basically, in a performance or in the Carnatic music art form, we have two major parts. One is the what is taught to us, what is already prefixed. We learn from our gurus. There is an oral tradition, and we present the kriti or the composition like we have learned from our gurus. So we don't generally improvise with that part of the art form, but we have aspects like raga alapana or a neraval or a kalpana swaram aspect or a tanam, which are aspects that happens on stage or it happens spontaneously. There is no pre-rehearsed version of it in general, and that happens over I would say decades of learning, or at least some time into learning. And after learning a few compositions are a huge guide for approaching the spontaneous aspect of our art form, or the manodharma aspect as it is called. So they generally say you learn multiple compositions in a particular raga, you gain knowledge about it, and you're able to approach it from different aspects. So different facets of the raga come to light with it. So that's a good tool to approach this the spontaneous aspect of the art form. Of course, lot of listening to great masters render these compositions, and the manodharma aspects will help in this. I'll just demonstrate maybe a small aspect from a composition and say how it differs from if I were to improvise the same line.
Right.
If the preset composition or the progression in the composition is called, we call it the sangatis, and the spontaneous improvisation is called a niraval. So I'll just maybe demonstrate a small bit of it. పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే లోలుకు మాటలాడు పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే. So there is a progression in this. Lakutene, lakutene, lakutene. So these are preset, at least like how I have been taught. This can differ from, let's say, from guru to guru, or from style to style. If I were to improvise the same line according to what my imagination is currently, పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే లోలుకు మాటలాడు పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనే. This is different from the original structure. The original structure is paluku palukulaku tene. So you might wonder why the same line is being repeated in a concert. It's for this reason. Basically, you have lyrics which convey some meaning, of course. Something this says, I'm repeating this because it sounds like honey to me. So, paluku paluku lakute, like I'm repeating it. So there's some meaning to this line, and I'm improvising it the way I feel like at this point. And of course, the sahitya also, has to be kept in mind before you choose a line to improvise. Right. It needs to mean something useful, or something important, or something which makes sense. There is a line, Patti gotu riti bhakshinchi tirigiti. Something in Etula Brotu Telia. So you're just going around randomly eating all kinds of things, or straying around. So if you have to keep repeating the line saying you're just randomly straying around, it doesn't make sense. So you also have to choose a line which is apt and conveys some kind of meaning. So this is a rough maybe explanation of what a niraval is.
Right. No, that was really beautiful and also very nicely put and in an accessible way. So, what you have typically shown is, well, there's a structured set of phrases that you have learned from your teacher, and then you start improvising. But there's a lot of consideration that goes into it. Of course, your creativity at that point, and then, like you said, the lyric of that particular line should be complete. I suppose pleasant and
also the talam also the rhythmic cycle also has to be maintained. The structure of the words also have to be maintained like it is in the original line, and you keep coming back to the refrain which is the original line. So
right. So you're thinking of the syntax, the rhythm, and then you have to be within the scale or the raga. You can't stray into other things. So there are many things with practice that you're able to summon by way of skills to produce this. And also fascinating is how then the violinist who is on stage is able to respond, sometimes contribute to your imagination and sort of mutually enrich that process, right? And it's almost like sometimes watching a game of tennis where you present a particular phrase and then they build on that, and it's quite fascinating.
So, I think the give and take is what makes it more beautiful from between the artists. So even they don't know what we are going to do, and we don't know what they're going to play. So it's like it ends up to be a beautiful picture.
So. Now that you say it, Amritha, a lot of people are intrigued by this element about Carnatic music. So you tell them that very often the accompanist, which is usually the violinist and the mridangam artist, and sometimes Ghatam Ganjira, they meet for the first time, as in for that particular concert on stage. So people can't wrap their heads around this. How do artists who meet then and there, how are they able to produce this music which is sometimes symphonic, sometimes so well coordinated, compatible? So could you tell our audience how that actually happens?
Like you say, most people don't believe us when we say we meet on stage. Sometimes we see our co-artists for the first time ever on stage, but still the music turns out to be harmonious or coordinated and synchronized in some way. I think that's because of the art form as such and the way it has been, way the presentation has also been structured. Like so, the compositions that we present to a certain extent are taught to most. When you have to be on stage performing, you should have gone through that rigor to be able to handle any kind of composition that is being presented, and certain basic ragas or certain basic melodies you have to be aware of if you have to be on stage. So I think over years experience teaches you that you have to learn certain compositions, or you have to be you should have put in a certain amount of hard work to be there. So if we are meeting on stage and trying to take it on stage, all the artists on stage should have put in that kind of hard work to be able to process things on stage and then present it right away.
Right.
So that is definitely a criteria. But I think the music, like I say, like the raga I presented just now is Kararapriya. All 4 artists on stage need to know the raga. They should have probably at least heard an inkling of this composition to be able to contribute to it. And then also anticipation is a huge thing. You need to be able to anticipate what could come next. So for that, years of listening, years of sadhana is very important. So that's how we just come together. I mean, there is no other way. I don't know how to explain it. But as far as
you're doing a great job of it.
So as far as the spontaneity aspect is concerned, and I think the violinist has the most difficult job on stage, because at least the vocalist gets to rest when the violinist is playing his solo or his or her solo turn. The mridangist gets to rest when we both are doing our solo versions. But the violinist has no rest. The percussion team gets rest, when we are doing our solos. So, and plus they have to keep in mind the melody, the thala, everything is important there. So it's like becomes an added challenge for them.
Right.
So, and I think it's important for the like if I'm singing, it's important for me to understand that everybody has a role to play.
Right.
That I'm not some solo I'm not like some main batsman there. Like I know there are terms like we use today, like main artist, and I find that very problematic actually. I don't think anybody is main or sub main or on stage
yeah.
because everybody has a role to play.
Yeah.
And if one person doesn't do their role properly, it will show actually.
Yeah. It can pull the whole
it can
concert
pull the
down.
whole concert down. I think it's a team effort, and we have to understand each one's strengths and weaknesses, and then work with it together.
Right.
See, once you're on stage, you're a team. That's it. Doesn't matter who it is, and it's important to give and take, and boost the other person up rather than trying to prove that you're one up on the other person. That's very important.
You're there to produce some good music together and have fun.
So I think even as an audience, it's important that they understand that every person on stage is playing a role.
Right.
And pay attention to the role they're playing. Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. From again what you say, it's so much about being present, and for the accompanist and the violinist, as you say, especially to.
I'm not saying the role for the percussionist.
Of course.
Not difficult. It's definitely difficult, but I'm just like.
Definitely. So, and they have to be present and very sensitive to the other artist's style, right? Because each artist they play for would be very different. Bring the same composition, may be approached so very differently by different people. So, it's fascinating how this works, and as you say, the art form lends itself to this kind of interpretation and spontaneity, right? You talked about how the audience needs to also begin to appreciate the role of each person on stage, violinist, every person playing a percussion instrument, the person playing the tambura, everybody, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And but for many people who come to a Carnatic concert, especially in December, we have people flying into Chennai to have that experience and so on. They don't necessarily come with, either technical expertise or familiarity with raga, but everybody knows there's a season of music here, there's a Carnatic music system, they want to listen to it, and different degrees of familiarity. And you must be very familiar with audiences with that kind of different backgrounds, right? So if you were to tell people coming into a Carnatic music concert for the first time, what would you say they should expect, or what should they look out for when they come to a concert like yours?
I think the first block I would say that people have to listening to even any kind of classical music is they think they have to know something. I think that's not necessary. It's not like we listen to film music or any other form of music because we know something. I probably don't. I only know a little bit like basics of probably Western music or something like that. I don't know anything, but I still listen. See, you listen to other genres of music because you like it, not because you have to know something. So, do we know what exactly is happening in a film song? No. So what pitch, what tune, what melody, what rag, not necessary to know. We just like it because it's melodious, or you just like the. So I think that's the first thing I would like to say to people. Don't come in thinking you have to know something. It's okay to just listen and watch and like the melody, and and it's okay if you don't know anything. It's okay if you didn't understand anything. It's okay to just enjoy music as it is.
Right.
Secondly, but if you want to educate yourself as a listener, just you have I would say even artists have a responsibility, not maybe during the season, but otherwise to educate listeners, which a lot of organizations are doing. Even I used to be part of YACM.
Right.
They used to do
the Youth Association for Classical
Youth
Music,
Association
right?
for Classical Music. They used to do a module called Builder Rasika, where we used to go to schools and then explain what a concert is, what happens in a Carnatic music concert. So I think many other organizations are doing it. Speak McKay is doing it widely. Those kind of I think sessions can help educating audience, and maybe there are sessions like that online also which people could refer to. Here it's not going to be like jazzy. I mean, there is a difference in the genre, right?
Right.
You expect certain kinds of music are heard certain way. So we don't probably do anything over dramatic here or something. It's more I don't know how to explain it, but it's a combination of being sedate and very robust, whatever. It's a combination of everything, multiple emotions all coming together, and there are more structured pieces here that you hear in a concert,
Right.
rather than probably in a Hindustani music concert. The number of compositions that you hear might be lesser. They more focus on the raga more than the. It's probably 2 or 3 ragas for the concert,
Right.
rather than we present like 9, 10
Set pieces.
set pieces,
Yeah.
right? So there's a difference in the presentation as well. So you just have to maybe make that extra effort to understand what's going on. I think that will, you start doing that, I think you'll probably people start enjoying the art
Sure,
form
it
more.
becomes more and more
Yeah, so
accessible.
because I think the pressure is like, oh, I don't know anything. The person next to me is able to say which raga it is, which style. If they ask me what, I won't know anything. And I think that's, you don't have to.
You don't have to know. Yeah, right. You spoke about challenges that are inherent to, stage performance. And, I saw that you had shared on your social media recently this post about opera singer Denise Graves, where she says, you'll never be judged on your best singing, you'll be judged on your average singing. So you better get your average singing above everybody else's. And I think she goes on to say something like your best voice comes when you're home and doing your laundry. So in that sense, what is this pressure about performance for an artist, because I can imagine there are many elements, like your voice has to cooperate that day, your mic and your sound system has to be good, your dynamic with the accompanist should be good, your imagination should be good, your stamina, so many things have to come together, and increasingly more pressure, right? You have to announce your concert on social media before it happens and share reels after it's over. So what's it like to be an artist today, and break down this pressure so we understand why it's so hard for you?
I don't think anything of this will be possible if you don't enjoy what you're doing.
Of
You have to
course.
be really passionate about the art form, because, like you say, the pressures that come with it. If you are in public eye, being judged is very natural.
Yeah.
So you're opening yourself up for judgment. So which means you have to make yourself mentally strong,
Yeah.
emotionally strong. You should be able to handle criticism. Constructive criticism is great, but it's not always constructive. So you should be able to take any kind of criticism that is hurled at you, and also praise. Take it with a pinch of salt. Take the good ones, but not think that you've achieved everything in life. The
Right.
balance is very difficult to achieve, but you have to achieve it, because otherwise it'll mess with your head for sure. And secondly, like you say, the pressure is too much. Nobody understands, nobody gives excuses. You can't say, oh, today I had a headache, or I didn't sleep well for 3 days, so I'm feeling a little tired. Nobody knows all that, and nobody cares also on
Right.
stage. So once you're on stage, you cannot offer excuses. So that in itself is a pressure. You might have had a rough day at home, you could have had something which upset you.
Yeah.
Everything has to be put aside when you sit on stage. So that kind of compartmentalization is also important, but at the same time that can also help you perform better. It's like a very complicated
Right.
equation, I can say. Sometimes you are like or that can help you perform better, that your music can be your way of expressing yourself or venting or whatever it is. So you have to be your mic system has to be good, you have to look presentable, your co-artists have to work in cohesion with you, and your audience also has to be with you, and how do you keep them with you?
Right.
So there is a huge challenge. And one day, like, it's like today, oh Nikki, today it was little, off. Nobody gives you, today it's off, then you're off.
Yeah.
25,000 people hear about it, and the next, to make up for that one probably mistake that you make is
Yeah.
very difficult. And yeah, of course, social media pressure, there is no doubting that. And sometimes if you have people doing it for you, it's wonderful. But if you don't have, people need to understand how you would like to present things also. So if you're a little finicky and with all that, then that is added pressure again.
Yeah, and I suppose if it's somebody understated like yourself, and if it's a very chirpy and loud social media
So
profile,
then
it won't be you at all,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So all those things are. See, it takes time. People don't realize that. They think that when we are on stage, that's the only thing we do. Oh, you have a concert. You have only 3 concerts this month. But what it takes for those 3 concerts, nobody understands. The planning, everything you have to do. You coordinate with your co-artists. You have to decide what you want to perform, you have to practice, you have to be physically fit, and then like you say, all this is a lot of time and lot of mental energy as well. And so you need to be peace at the end of the day,
Right.
doing what you're doing. And I think you can get through all this only if you have conviction in your music or in your art. Like at least what you're presenting, you should be happy doing it. If you're doubting even that, then that can make things worse.
Right.
So you will survive all this only if that at least is grounded. So I mean, everybody goes through self doubt. Self doubt is the worst. Like you, every now and then you think you're doing great, and then there'll be one day when it all plummets.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to every human being. It's natural.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you have to get yourself out of those situations.
Right.
And as far as possible, keep yourself happy and physical. That's very important.
Right. So Amrita, I'm curious. You've been with very senior gurus and both in violin, vocal music, and so on. And now you yourself teach younger students and aspiring artists. So the system of teaching and learning in Carnatic music, if it's not in a structured college or school system, is very much determined by the teacher's method and your dynamic with them and so on. And also that I think the time that you learned from the senior gurus, it was, let's say, I don't know if this is the right word, the setup was a lot more traditional
Yes,
in the sense
definitely.
of, hierarchies were clear,
Yeah.
and, there was a system to how you went, you learned, you came back. Of course, each teacher was different and so on, but largely speaking, that was how it was. But today, when you're speaking to younger people who have enormous exposure to art itself and
Yes.
Carnatic music, and I'm sure they come with so many questions and
Too many.
too many, right? So
Yes.
how do you contrast your experience as a student and now that you're teaching? What are the differences you think?
Very different, I can say. I think the primary difference would be that when, at least with my older senior gurus, you cannot ask for what you want. You can't ask too many questions. First, you can't ask questions. And then even if you ask questions, it has to be asked in a right way, in a way that it is not offensive, or
Right.
or at a right time, all that is. And you can't ask, I want to learn this, and today I feel like I want to learn this. You can't say all those things. And some of my gurus would not let me record also.
Right.
So all of it had to be oral memory. I had to remember and sing the next class without making a mistake.
Right.
And like you cannot say, I want to go out today, I can't go to class, I want to go to a movie, I can't say none of this. You have class, you end up going to class. That's
Right.
it. There are no excuses. And you
You
can't say
you
I
have
want to
maths
leave.
exam tomorrow.
No,
No,
you
okay.
can't say I want to leave
Yeah.
because I have a test tomorrow. Nothing. When they say you leave, you leave. That's till then you just be in class. So that, and it doesn't matter. Like you can't explain. Oh, I'm feeling a little low. You can't say. But today, children express everything to us.
Right.
I would say it's slightly different with maybe younger generation, Vittal sir or Shriramkumar, because they were
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
younger, and then they're more like friends, or you
Right.
can they're accessible and you can explain what you want,
Yeah, yeah.
or what your thoughts are, or ask for what you want. Also, you have the liberty and the freedom. But today, children have to be dealt with very differently. I feel like, I think it's only fair because their emotional makeup is very different.
Yeah.
They asked so many questions. They are curious, and which is great. I
Yes.
mean, great that
For
they're
a learner,
curious.
it's-
It should be. That's
Yeah.
how it should be. So here, even we were curious, we had to find our answers somehow. We couldn't exactly ask our gurus. Maybe by observing, by watching them for so many years, you get your answers, or you don't get them. So, but here they ask. If we know, we share, and then it's like a friendly relationship. So it's the dynamics itself is very different.
Right.
So for me, I don't compromise on the music. There are no compromises there, but I think it's important to understand the psyche of each child. They should not, music should be joyful.
Yeah.
There should be no pressure. Learning should not be a pressure situation. That's, I've learned from experience that that can really, later on in life, that can cause a lot of unnecessary pressure for you.
Right.
So they should learn happily. At the end of the day, they choose to sing, they don't sing, it's their calling. And they should be able to ask what they want for.
Right.
And then that definitely should give them the freedom, not like overdo it, but definitely they should have the freedom.
Right.
to tell us, no, today I don't feel like singing. It's fine to, if they say that, I think we should understand, that's, I feel like the dynamics are different.
Yeah,
So
and that also then means that
I think they're more close to us also. Like,
Okay.
we become like their friends, and they want to share everything with us. At least that's how I am with I
Right.
think I am with my disciples. So
Right.
there's a beautiful, I like the relationship that we have.
Sure.
It's very cohesive, and yeah.
And I think also freedom and the luxury of being able to say no or I don't know when they ask a question, right?
Yes, it's there. And plus, see, they have YouTube, they have Google to
Yeah.
refer to. So sometimes it can get annoying because they think, no, this thing says that, and that can
Yeah.
annoy you to a certain extent. But they can be a little over smart at times, because
Yeah.
I don't blame them. They have all information available. Internet is giving you all kinds
Yeah,
of saying, why can't we learn this from here,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
why are you singing it differently, or something like that, or where did you learn this from? These are kind of questions that annoy me a little bit.
Right.
But overall, I think it's you have to change with times.
Right.
You cannot say no. It's not like that.
Yeah.
So even if, like, say, if they're playing tambura for me in a concert, I think their comfort is, if they have a concert the next day, I can't say you better be there.
Right.
I don't want to do that to them. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's like I think we should understand it's slightly
course.
different. Yeah.
So, Amrita, you travel a lot within India to other contexts. So, do you see that there's any fundamental difference to performing here and to audiences outside? And do you have to tweak your concert list or tailor your program to speak to these different audiences and their preferences? How do you do that?
You have to, to a certain extent. Within India itself, like, if you're performing in Bangalore, you present a few Purandaradasa, Kannada compositions.
Right.
If you're performing in Kerala, you try including a couple of Malayala padas or something like that. And then in Annamacharya, Bhadrachala Ramdasa, and no Telugu compositions in Andhra. So, and then up north, maybe you can include bhajans and
Right.
abhangs, and all that has come into our repertoire beautifully. I think we have brought it in very organically, it's come in. So I think that we have to keep in mind. Also, the language, there is a language, as much as we say all languages are beautiful, I find that people still hold on to uh, their city's language or something.
Right.
They're very, you have to sing something in that, otherwise they get very upset, or
Right.
so that's for within India probably. And depends on, like, if you're singing in a college or if you're singing in a sabha, there is a difference, or in a temple. So you slightly vary your list according to the venue.
Right.
If it's a sabha, it can be a little more serious, it's a in a temple, little more devotional maybe, and like that. If it's a college or a school or university, make it a little more educative also, like you can
Right.
combine it with explaining what you're doing and ask them questions and make it more interactive. Outside of India, I think their music is rare for them, right? They don't get it. So here we have, like, concerts happening every day. So there they drive distances to come and listen to you. So you sing for longer durations. I
Right.
perform for 4.5, 5 hours and all that in the US. So you include, they like you to sing a Ragam, Tanam, Pallavi, present compositions of all composers. Like, again, there you have to satisfy, you would have sung everything, you would have missed a Devar Nama, somebody singing a Kannadave Padali, somebody
Right.
come and ask you. So you try including everything, like make it a mixture of trying to represent every kind of composition probably, and also every composer or language, most important composers at least. So make it a mixture and then include a Ragam, Tanam, Pallavi or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you. And then I think in Europe it's shorter. The concerts are like maybe 1 hour. It's not like the US. So you have to make it more educative.
Right.
Explain what you're doing and play shorter pieces maybe, and
And give them an idea of different
idea of what
things.
is happening on stage,
Right.
because it's not something they hear every day.
Right.
Connect it with their kind of music probably, and say what the differences are or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so very interesting. That people.
But you can never satisfy everybody.
That's true.
There will always be the few people who come say, "Idhu nee paadave nenichene, nee paadave.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah,
do
yeah.
this." So you can never, but you can try.
Try to.
Some days your plan might not work.
Yeah.
Like, you might go in with a plan, you might think it's the best plan for the day, but it will not be. So it'll turn out very different from what you'll have to change on stage.
Right. Right. So you mentioned Ragam Tanam Pallavi in your last response to say that it's one thing. It's in a way also a sort of sample of different elements that are available in Carnatic music, isn't it? So can you explain to our audience why that's sometimes the centerpiece of a concert, especially in Sabha circuits, and what typically happens within a Ragam Tanam Pallavi?
The Ragam Tanam Pallavi has, I would say, though three aspects, main aspects, but we also have two other aspects to it. Like we do Niraval, and there is a raga which is an alapana where the melody is improvised, just the melody without any percussion, any lyrics. And then there is the aspect of Tana where you use like syllables like Ananta, Ananta, and syllables like that, and little more rhythmic and little more brisk, in a sense the patterns are more structured, the Tanam. And the Pallavi, which is just a single line, that is a set line which is improvised in ways that you can think of on stage. And after that you sing swaras to match this line, to go back to this line, and that you can sing in the same raga or different ragas, multiple ragas also. You have a raga malika segment that you can utilize. So all this, and then you can have a rhythmic section after that, and within the same line we can do rhythmic possibilities with the same line as well. So though there is a set structure, you work with it rhythmically also. So all this happens within this one piece. And so the vocalist gets a solo, violinist gets a solo, then the percussion team also gets a solo, and then we all work together as well. So all this, and especially in cities in Kerala and all that, you find that even for the Tanam there is mridangam accompaniment. Right. So it happens in a few places like that. Usually Tanam is sung without percussion accompaniment, but there is also practice of singing it with percussion. So that's how it works. And like maybe you can
please, it would be great if you can demonstrate.
So the alapana is roughly like I'm singing alapana of Todi. This is an alapana, a small example of how an alapana will sound. Basically like an akara kind of presentation with small syllables used here and there. I have to sing Tanam for the same raga. Anam tadanam 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 Anam nam tadanam nam tada Anam tadanam tada Anam tadanam 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 tada Anam ta Anam Anam tadanam 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 ta Anam tadanam ta Anam tadanam tadanam ta Anam tadanam 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 ta Anam tadanam 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 ta Anam tadanam tadanam ta. This is a rough example for a Tanam where you have you can use patterns like these, like which are progressive, and then it has to be brisk. Basically you can't sing Anam. This is more like an alapana. Okay. So Anam tadanam, every note is important here. It has to be kind of heard. So this is how a Tanam, and especially on the instrument there are, they have like a special Tanam kind of bowing also that they use to make it sound like someone is singing Tanam also. So as far as the Pallavi structure, okay, I'm just thinking of some random. So I have to sing a Pallavi like Taraya Taraya Sada Ramachandra Murti Todita Shiva Japakite Taraya Sada Ramachandra Murti Todita Shiva Japakite Taraya Sada Ramachandra Murti. So this line structure will stay constant. This is how the line has been structured. It's preset. So if I have to improvise on this, Taraya Sada Ramachandra Murte Todita Shiva Champakite Taraya Sada Ramachandra Murte. So this is a rough improvisation. You can sing swaras for this also. Sani da ni da pa ma da ra ya sa da. And then this is in Todi. If I have to sing in different ragas, pa 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 ma da pa ma ga pa ni 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 da ma ri pa ma ga ri sa ni sa pa ma ga ma pa ni da sa sa ni da pa ma ga ma pa ni da sa sa ni sa ma ga sa ni da ma pa ga ri pa ma ga ri sa ni sa pa ma ga ma pa ni da sa ni da pa ga ma pa ma ni da ta Raya Sada Ramachandra Murti. Something like that. So the structure will also change to that raga that you have changed to. So this can go on. So this piece allows you to improvise as much as you want. So there is a lot of scope to do anything that you want with just one line. So that's why it's very important piece, at least these days in a concert.
That was really beautiful. Thank you, Amritha.
Thank you.
And we could see that you're having fun, and it's like you're playing and really using permutations, combinations, and just having fun while at it. So I was going to ask you, in a concert, is there one thing that's most fun for you, like you love doing this, or it's your comfort go-to piece, or something like that, to say that when Amritha is singing this type of thing, she's in her element?
I don't know if people think that way, but
Something that's fun for you.
I like singing shlokas and viritams
Right.
a lot. So if there is time in a concert, I will definitely like to sing at least, maybe if not a long raga malika, at least one raga of a shloka I definitely like to present. So that's what I probably, apart from other things, and towards the fag end of the concert, I would like to sing that.
What about that is for you so appealing? Like, why do you enjoy that so much?
I kind of connect with it, probably the words, and I feel it's a combination of, let's say, I would say devotion, not even say devotion to the God. It's something devotion to my music or the Godhead or whatever at that point it is. Creativity as well as bhava, basically.
Right.
It's I am drawn to bhava a little bit in general. So even if there are complicated things happening on stage, I would like it to remain a little aesthetic,
Right.
and not too complicated to the ear.
Right.
So I think the melody is very important at the end of the day. So this kind of gives me, it reaches out to my soul, I would think.
Right.
So yeah, and I feel like I'm not proving anything to anybody at that point of time.
Okay.
It's my safe place.
You're just being and
just being myself, and I'm introspecting. I have it's some joy that I derive.
Right. Maybe at that point you're not performing in that
Yes,
sense, right?
yes. So that balance I feel like is very important for a performer. That you are a performer, right? But at some point you also have to, give the art the balance also.
Yeah.
and yourself the balance, that you sing what you want to sing also.
Of course. It has to be honest
It
and
has to be
an
honest. Yeah,
expression.
that honesty is very important.
Right. So when you mentioned shlokas, Amrita, I'm aware that you're very good with languages, whether it's Sanskrit or all the Trinity's compositions in Telugu, because you're careful with your diction and pronunciation. So do you also do a lot of language research and learning sounds to be sure that you pronounce them accurately?
I mean, I'm interested in languages definitely. I know, I mean, I don't know Kannada or Telugu, or I can't read the script, but I understand, of course. Yeah, we look into the meaning of what we perform. And most of our compositions are in Telugu predominantly. Sanskritam I've learnt in school.
Right.
So I have a fair knowledge of it, but I can't say I'm like very. But definitely, we take the trouble to understand what the song means or what we are singing, and yeah, pronunciation is very important. I think, because if you're singing a Marathi piece, not just see, now we sing other languages as well, right? If you're singing Malayalam, I remember one recording I sang of a Malayalam piece. The recordist was a Malayali. The song was not difficult, but it was on a fierce form of the goddess Bhagavati.
Right.
So the music is very fierce, but
Right.
the language is very subtle. Like
Right.
those syllables have to be said in a very soft way.
Right.
So I then realized how difficult it was.
Oh, yeah.
It took me, not because the composition was, but to say these words correctly, but at the same time bring the melody out correctly.
Right.
So the it's a huge learning experience for me. But yeah, I make it a point to, my guru is also very particular. I'd say Shriramkumar sir is very, very particular about Sahitya also. So even when he teaches us, he makes it a point that we don't say anything the wrong way. Like we're singing Marathi, if you're singing Marathi abhangs or bhajans, we have to pronounce it the right way, like how their language demands, at least to the best possible extent. I mean, we're not North Indians. Our music is also South Indian, yes, but if you're presenting a North Indian piece, or let's say even a Bengali
Right.
piece, we need to take the effort to understand
Right.
their language, or at least how to pronounce what we're singing,
Sure, sure.
if not anything else.
Like you say, the meaning is also intimately connected with the emotive component, right? Because you said you like to keep the bhava, in focus all the time, regardless of which technical aspect you're looking into. So I suppose the lyric and the meaning also informs
Definitely,
that
meanings,
process,
yes,
right?
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So you spoke about other languages, Amrita. So many Carnatic greats have often talked about how other genres have influenced their own singing or work with an instrument or composing. So each of them has, some artists have talked about how ghazals influenced them, some about how film music did, how Hindustani did, how Western classical did. So is there, if you want a little departure from Carnatic music, just to refresh your mind, which is the kind of music that you go to and why?
I like Hindustani music a lot. So mostly I listen to some Hindustani music, ghazals, or
Right.
that kind of music. Also I would say, sorry, old film music also.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
Right.
listening to some old film songs and
Right.
Hindi songs, and also some old Tamil songs as well.
Okay,
So
just to understand this a little more, when you say Hindustani music in particular is something you're very fond of, what does it do to your practice itself? Like, because it's a slightly different system, not entirely, but very significantly different. What does it contribute in terms of aesthetic or sound or experience?
I would think there is a certain composure which I would like to take from, and of course their presentation is very different. They structure their presentation in a very different way. They don't have to start with singing a varnam in the tarastai, like a yeran or thodi varnam or
Right.
something like that. So it builds the concert kind of it builds on you, right? It grows on you. So that I kind of like that composure,
Right.
and I think that kind of, also the shruti. No, I'm not saying we don't have it, but the voice training is also
Sure.
important. Our training is, we can't actually, people say that if you learn one form you can sing the, I think that's, we need to be trained in
Right.
each form separately. think they have a unique intonation
Yeah,
that
to
we
be
need
able to do justice to that,
I
right?
think
Yeah.
Hindustani intonation is very different. Carnatic music is very different. The intonation, we should not try to intonate Hindustani music like Carnatic music, and vice versa. I think the main aspect is that I find there's some kind of calm and
It's got that
composure,
calming
that
effect.
calming
Yeah.
effect on me that I would like to bring in my
Sure.
performances as well. Even if we are presenting a very fast piece, like I said, the aesthetic should not be lost. I mean, it's only an attempt. You achieve it, you don't achieve it, you don't know. But at some point, we hope to. Yeah.
Right. So finally, Amrita, can I ask you to sing for us any piece or viritam or shloka or anything that you enjoy singing very much?
कस्तूरी तिलकं ललाटफलके वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभम् कस्तूरी तिलकं ललाटफलके वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभम् नासाग्रे नासाग्रे नवमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुं करे कङ्कणम् सर्वाङ्गे 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 हरिचन्दनं च कलयन् कण्ठे च मुक्तावलिं कण्ठे च मुक्तावलिं गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपाल गोपालचूडामणिः विजयते गोपालचूडामणिः विजयते गोपालचूडामणिः गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूडामणिः गोपाल 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 चूडामणिः गोपाल चूडामणिः गोपाल चूडामणिः
Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meera.
And if you can just tell what that was.
This is just a shlokam, Kasturi Tilakam Lalata Phalake, on Lord Krishna. Describes him as little Krishna. Vakshastale Kaustubam, where he wears a Kaustubam on his chest. Nasagre, on his nose he has a Navamauktikam pearl ornament. Karatale Venum, he holds his flute in his hands. Kare Kankanam, he wears bangles in his hand. Sarvange Harichandanam, all over his body he has Chandanam. You're describing basically little Krishna, how you would decorate him. All Sarvange Harichandanam cha Kalyan, Kanthe cha Muktavalim. He has a pearl bracelet, pearl necklace on his neck. Kanthe cha Muktavalim. Gopastri, and then when he grows up a little bit, he's the darling of the gopis. Gopastri Pariveshtito Vijayate Gopala Chudamani. He one who's like the crest jewel amongst all the among the gopis. They view him as the crest jewel. Gopala Chudamani. Yeah. So
Right.
short shloka on Krishna.
Very evocative and visual
Yes,
also,
yes,
no? Very
yes.
beautiful. Thank you. So this has been really interesting and
Thank you.
enjoyable, Amritha. Thank you so
Meera.
much
Thank
for
you.
breaking down your life as an artist, your practice of the art, the shifting dynamic between a teacher-student, so many things that you
Thank you so much.
very, very succinctly covered. Thank you, and
Thank you.
wishing you the very best for the music season that is about
Thank
to
you very
come,
much.
and look forward to following your work.
Thank you so much, Meena. Lovely talking to you today.